Hi there, here's a look at my newest resource. It's called Spiders Love Spaghetti and Meatballs, and it's an S-blend articulation activity you can be using in your speech therapy room this October or year-round. So I'm going to go into, this is the keynote that I created the resource in. I'm going to go in and show you the slideshow. And so right here you see we have a spider with some meatballs, and they have cute little emoji faces that are obviously terrified of the spider that wants to eat them. So here we have different ways that I've actually used this resource this past week in my speech room. I have some spiders that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm sure you can get them at any local dollar store or Target that might have them. And I have little spiders that can be used as props to eat the meatballs. And the meatballs that I have in spaghetti in the center, I've used yellow yarn from Michaels, and I've got little red pom-poms and glued some googly eyes onto the meatballs. I also picked up some spider rings that I have put inside of a sensory box using real pasta that I cooked. So depending on your child's sensory tolerance, maybe you can have them put their hands in a box of sticky pasta and say, oh, that's sticky, or oh, it's slimy, and they can find spiders in the pasta. Or you can use the soft yarn and the soft pom-poms for maybe your younger kids. So anyways, these are some pictures of how I've actually used the resource. Right here I have the Spaghetti Trail game mats, and these are game boards that are individual size. You could use them with a small group of 2 to 3 students, but I also recommend just giving your student their own game mat. And you'll see that there's 7 different S-blend mats. So each mat looks identical, but it comes with different photos on the meatballs, and these are actual real photos. They're really high quality images from a great TPT seller, and the mats have every single S-blend you could want. So I also have the plain meatball mat and the scary meatball mat. So I understand some of our younger students might be scared by these meatballs, so you can use the plain meatball mat. You can also use the plain meatball mat if you have students who want to play this game but are not working on S-blends. So here's a closer view of the mats, and you'll see to the right I have some of my S-blend playing cards that have the photos, and you can use these with the plain game mats. Now these cards also come in 7 different versions, and they're color coded. And each sound has about 8 cards. One has 4 or 5 in it, but most of them have 8 cards. And here I've included the game pieces. They're little spiders. All you need to do is print this sheet out, and then you can cut and laminate the pictures. You can use a little clip holder to attach to one of the individual spiders and use it as a game piece to move around. Now on the top row, I've included boy names that have the ST blend. Actually, it's a variety of S blends. So we have Skipper and Spike, Steven, Stinky, and Sleepy. And then the second row are girl names on the spiders. And then below you have different colors. So if your students are using the same game mat, they can pick the color spider that they want. So trying to give you some options. So here are the game mats up close. This is the scary meatball mat. This is the plain mat. And let's go ahead and look at the S-blend mats. So we have SW, SP, SK, ST, SN, SM, and SL. And just look at the high quality photos that are on here. And they have relevant pictures. So we even have a spinner on there. I loved that the TPT seller had that photo in this kit. So we have on the SK sound, scuba diver, scorpion, skillet. Now these also include the SC spelling and the SK spelling. And they have the photo and the word, which is great for your students who are reading. So SN, ST, SW. And then we have the meatball smash mats. So there's 7 of these as well. So all of these will have 7 different versions. And you see these are just meatballs, and they are the scary version, but they're kind of funny. So I've included SP for this particular worksheet. It has SP letters. So spy, spend, speed, speak. And you'll notice most of them are all verbs, right? So I've done this because I know sometimes you have mixed groups. I have mixed groups all the time. And what you can do is you can have your students who are working on past tense or maybe actions, they can create a sentence using one of these SP words. or they can act them out, which would be kind of fun. Or you can do directions. So, someone can pretend to be spying on someone and then spill something. Okay, so down at the bottom of this worksheet, you see that there's 10 white circles. And what I would use these for is I would either put Play-Doh in them. So as you start the session, you can pull out, a Play-Doh tub and make 10 rolls of Play-Doh, 10 little balls, and you can start with them in these white circles. And then when the child says a word, they can take that Play-Doh and then smash it on the meatball. So it'd be great if it was a red Play-Doh because it'll look like meatballs. Or you can start with the red dough on the meatballs and move it over and smash them on the white circles. Now, I like this because it helps the students know what's expected of them. There's 10 words, there are 10 spaces, and 10 opportunities to reinforce the child every single time he or she does a speech, task, or word. So, you can, like I said, you can use these for action words or just straight articulation, and you can determine how many times you want the student to say that target word. So we have SP, SK, so scoop, scare, scout, score. Some of them are not verbs. Smell, smear, smooch, smudge, smooth, snack, snarl, snatch, snoop, sneak, sled, slam, slit, slug, slant, stamp, step, stack, stand, stay, sweep, swallow, swaddle, swap, swarm. Okay, so here are my tissue box crafts, and I put these up on my Instagram, and I just honestly could hardly handle how cute they were. So in the bottom right corner, I had just a large tissue box, and this spider on top comes in the kit, and you just print it out and laminate it. I glued the bottom portion of it and just glued it to the back of the front of the box. And then I created this little spaghetti plate with yarn and pom-poms from Michael's, which is a craft store. Now the top left corner is the scary version, and I actually took some black dot art paint and I painted the box, the same box from the bottom right corner, and then I took some spider webs from Michael's, so I don't know what fabric it is, but it's like spider webs, and I put it on top of the paint as it was drying, and then inside I put the yellow yarn, and I'm also going to put some meatballs in there and the spiders, and what I'm going to do is have the students reach their hands in there and try to pull out spiders or maybe pull out little trinkets that have S-blends in them, or you could do it with any articulation sound, and then I'm going to have them put it on this mat. So let's say they grab a spider here, they can put it on top of this mat on one of the meatballs and pretend to eat it while they're saying the word. So that's just some ideas. Here's a die. You can use this in many ways. I didn't write anything on it just to leave it open for you, but let's say they roll a meatball that has 3 meatballs on it. Then they can either take 3 meatballs or they can put 3 meatballs in. They can maybe make 3 Play-Doh meatballs, or they can move 3 spots on the game board. So it's up to you. And then here is the picture that you would attach to the tissue box. Now this right here, top right corner, is a spaghetti plate, and it has spaces for meatballs. Okay, so on the left you see we have the plain meatballs and the scary meatballs, just like we've had the whole time. And you can use these as just a general reinforcer for students who would enjoy putting these on the plate. So on the bottom right corner, I tell you, do you have students who love to play this game but aren't working on S-blends? Don't worry, you can simply use this as an activity to motivate these students. You do need to attach Velcro to the backs of the meatballs and to the meatballs on the plate. And there are 12 spots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 spots on the plate. I have provided you with 15 meatballs on the picture just in case you lose a meatball, which tends to happen to me when I make Velcro things. Okay, so here's the plate, and it says, spiders love spaghetti, especially when there are meatballs. Don't keep the spider waiting. He is hungry. Say your words and give him some meatballs. Here are the plain meatballs, the scary meatballs, and then you can also, I've also made meatballs for you so that you can have them for every single S-blend. Now, I love this idea, and I think it would be fantastic to have. I made just one so far, and my hand kind of cramped up cutting out the circles. Now, if that does not matter to you and you just love the idea of this, then you have all 7 worksheets that you can create meatballs for. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And you see in the bottom right corner, you can just pull off the meatball, and there's Velcro on the back. And here's another plain sheet just to use as a token reinforcer. Here are some of the up close pictures. Now you see there's 6 target words per S blend, okay? But they have one picture and one word, so you can work on matching the word to the picture, or you could even do directions like, put the skunk on and then the sky, or put the skunk picture on and then the skunk word. So here are the meatball pictures. And here's just a suggestion. If you don't have the time to be cutting out 1,000 meatballs, that's okay. You can just print out these mats instead. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and created these mats for you, so you do not have to cut or Velcro anything. They're just there. And you can use these as Play-Doh smash mats, or you can cover them up with tokens, like magnetic tokens, or you can put the little spiders on top and have them pretend to eat the meatballs. So I prefer the Velcro option, but it is time consuming. I totally get that. So I wanted you to have this option because I do not want to be taking up all your time. I just want you to be able to play this game with your students. So 7 sets of S-Blend game cards, the words only. So you'll see in these pictures I have the word only and the meatball, and these would be for your older students who are reading and who don't want the pictures. So you can use these with the tissue box, you can use them with the game board, and you can use them with any of your sensory boxes. So once again, each of them have their own page. There are 10 words on each. So you have 10 SP words, 10 SK words, 10 SM words, and so on. And these are all verbs as well. So you can do the same thing like I recommended earlier. These cards you could put in a sensory box too, and this could just be an alternate way to select how many meatballs to complete or give or do without using that big die. And then these are the deck of cards, okay? So you'll see they're all color-coded. Once again, there's 7 of them. SP blends are red, SL blends are blue, SM blends are orange, and you'll notice there's 5 cards. I just only had 5 pictures. SN blends are 7, and then yellow is SK blends, SW blends are purple, and then ST blends are kind of like a tangerine color. Okay, so there's the information there, and they're all the same pictures that we've had before. Some are different, like this one you'll see we have a scarecrow. I don't think that's on the game mats, or the skeleton because it was kind of hard to show up on the meatballs. So you really have a huge variety of S blends in this kit. I've also included as a bonus a carrier sentence or pacing strip. So this one's pre-made. You can print this out and use it, or you can just laminate this sheet. And then in the upper part of so there's 4 carrier sentences here. When you cut them out, the upper portion that's right above the meatball is where you can put in, using dry erase marker, what the sentence is. So maybe I found whatever the word is, right? Or I spot, or I spotted, or you found, whatever sentence you're working on, okay? And then the child can tap on each meatball as they're saying the word very smoothly or at an appropriate rate, or over articulating their sounds. And homework bracelets. So I love homework bracelets. I've used these in a couple of my resources, and they're a great way for your students to take pride in what they've worked on in speech, and they're a good communicative tool to let your students, teachers, and parents know what they were working on. So I like to take my students' best word of the day that they were able to say and have them either write it in the circle, or they can draw a picture, or they could alternate writing and drawing a picture. And then you just put a little glue on the bottom, or on the far right side, and then make it into a bracelet, and they get to take it home with them. So often this is a better solution than sending kids home with homework worksheets that end up in their backpack crumpled up, even though you sent them home with a little cute speech homework folder, right? So try out the bracelet idea, and hopefully this will be a nice bonus for you that will get you thinking of doing this with your other students too for different activities. So here are the bracelets. I've given you 6 on one page, and this is just a thank you page. Thank you for our amazing clip artist. Westmoreland Learning is the one where the photos came from, and a sketch guy is where the cute little emoji faces came from, and Speech Doodles has the spider, the main star of this kit. So I hope you love this resource, and please tag me on Instagram with Play Learn Talk or Pedicott Kelly. to show me how you use this in your speech room, because I am filled with joy seeing people use it in their speech room, any of my resources. And if you have any questions, you can always email me, um, on Instagram or on Facebook. And yeah, or on Play Learn Talk at Teachers Pay Teachers. Okay, thanks so much, you guys. Bye.